This week I've got The Gentleman, which is written and directed by Guy Ritchie, and it stars Matthew McConaughey, Charlie Hunnam, Henry Golding, Michelle Dockery, Jeremy Strong, Eddie Marsan, Colin Farrell, and Hugh Grant. And you think, like, yeah, that's a pretty decent cast, but man alive, this movie is just such a waste. It's hard to call someone derivative of themselves because that implies that they are aping somebody else and therefore it's not good because they are not successful at it. But in this case, it seems so close to his Guy Ritchie's template of films. And I get, you can be a director and you can have a distinct style and that can be your kind of signature. But that doesn't mean that you get to make the same movie over and over, and it doesn't mean you get to make a bad movie. Like, I'll say that, he's not my favorite director, but I think Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and, like, Snatch are two pretty solid films. Even weirdly, like, it's not his greatest, but Rock and Rolla has some okay performances. Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr. is fine. Man from U.N.C.L.E. they're all kind of middling, but at least they all had, like, some distinct nature to them. This, I'm just like, oh, you just kind of like drew from all of those and you phoned this one in. Like, maybe you were tired from Aladdin, maybe you were tired from like the crappy King Arthur. I don't know what it was, but it was just like, oh, I've seen all of this before. And this movie spends the entire time pompously like acting like it's going to be smarter than the audience, and a movie can kind of get away with that if it's actually smarter than its audience. But in this case, I'm like, the writing is kind of on the wall. The twists don't feel very twisty. Could you have made this more straightforward? There's no need to get wrapped up in a mystery unnecessarily. Like, you could just tell the story, and the mechanic through which they tell the story is this is like the mildest of mild spoilers, but not they tell it through the idea of like Hugh Grant's character is basically pitching a film, and so there's all this like, oh, smash cut, do this, do that, and it's just, the premise is Matthew McConaughey plays an American who starts a weed empire in England, and it's about kind of the gangsta dealings of all of these people and how they're all intertwined. The meta nature of it, combined with the arrogance, combined with the lack of originality, combined with the racism, was just too much for me. Like, performance-wise, I'm almost indifferent, but script-wise, I am offended. It's 2020. Like, you don't need to have a story, and you can have Chinese gangsters, you can have like black gangsters, you can have whoever, but you don't need to make like L and R jokes, and it's like, oh, Ronry and don't call people Chinamen. Like, what the hell? You can have gangsters and criminals and whatever. They don't have to be racist. It does not progress the story. I'm so frustrated by it. Like, some of the stuff with Michelle Dockery's character, it's just like, why even have a woman here? Like, aside from to be basically like a set piece. I want the 103 minutes from my life back. And I don't feel like, it didn't feel like 103 minutes. It felt like an eternity. I think the only character who I really liked out of it, Colin Farrell did a fine job. It was fine. Like, Hugh Grant was okay in that he was playing like skeezy smarmy, and usually, in however many years he's like polite, uptight, whatever. But overall, like, don't go see this movie. Don't bother. Just, if you really want a Guy Ritchie movie, go rewatch one of his old ones or watch them for the first time. But don't. Just, it's not worth it. There's nothing about this movie that really makes me be like, yeah, no, it's worth your time. So I'm only going to give this 2 out of 5.